So we're here outside the forecourts today where there are a group of locals from the Tipperary town of Dundrum, which has a population of 165 locals, and there are supposed to be 280 asylum seekers moved into a local hotel, so more than the local population. What brings you down here today, Matthew?
Well, I came in support of the people of Dundrum, the parish and indeed the community. They have had an integration centre there for Ukrainian refugees for a long time now, and they were very well integrated. But the department and the government, in their wisdom, have now decided to change this to an iPad centre without any consultation, any engagement. Now, this day week, Monday, I had a 3-hour meeting with a number of the community, and indeed they met about 30 locals then, and the councillors in the offices in Tipperary town. But that wasn't the consultation by any shape, making, or form. It was telling the locals and the public representatives that this was going ahead, a decision had been made, and they were kind of take it or leave it. So the people have been very active and very engaging and very peaceful and dignified in their protests, and they have been working in a number of strands. This is a strand they decided to take their options to the courts here this morning. There's about between 40 and 50 locals here, and they've lodged an ex-party demand for an emergency hearing, which is due to take place any moment. I know there were some difficulties getting it lodged. Last evening they met in Dundrum in the South Hall, and 302 people from the community and a little outside it, the neighbouring parishes, signed 302 affidavits, legal affidavits, paid €20 for the people today to take, representative group to take that to the forecourts where they are now, waiting for the judge to hear the case. They lodged that this morning here, but apparently there was some debate about the fact that they had to name the people, Patrick McGreal and the people of Dundrum. That's who they're representing, but there was some bit of argy-bargy about the fact that they're representative of the people. I'm telling you that 300 people from the parish signed an affidavit, so they have the imprimatur to represent the people. They have all the local reps are supporting them. So this is a fine line, so the judge might be able to say something different now and then. I don't know once she speaks or hears the argument in a few minutes. But they're here, they're inside. It's I would say novel, but it's the courts are meant to serve the people. The government are meant to serve the people too, but they're not serving the people. They've trodden over the Constitution and the rights of the people in deeming this once famed hotel, Dundrum House Hotel, deeming it an iPad centre without any engagement with public representatives or the people either.
I asked the Social Protection and Rural Development Minister, Heather Humphreys, earlier today about this particular incident in this town, and I said, is it not a strange situation to have more asylum seekers in a hotel than the local population? And she said she wasn't familiar with the case, but that she was sure that Minister O'Gorman's Department of Integration would have full engagement with locals and would make sure to speak to them and listen to them and hear their concerns. What do you say to that?
Well, I have to say, in fairness to Evelyn from the department, is very engaging, but it's after the fact. It's after the fact. Same in Clonmel last week. It was after the fact that the works had all been well underway before anybody was spoken to. I'm sure Minister Humphreys wouldn't like to see this happen in Hotel Kilmore in Cavan, or indeed the Steve Russell Hotel, or any of the hotels, Four Seasons, or the West Henry in Monaghan, in her constituency. So, I mean, this is just not fair. As I said, they have pints of law today, pints of articles of the Constitution, which I can't quote you here, where statutory instruments have been signed by the minister to kind of circumvent and get around those articles of the Constitution. They weren't debated at all in the Dáil, or they weren't discussed anywhere. So people have taken the decision to bring their case here to the forecourts to see will they get some semblance of justice for the situation they find themselves in. As I said, a welcoming people who welcomed Ukrainians, and now, if they had a small number, or if they had, proper integration, they might be able to, or being consulted, but they have no consultation. This was told, this is happening, fait accompli, and there's many question marks over the building, its suitability, and indeed over the ownership of Dundrum House Hotel.
What do you make of the argument that communities don't have a veto or shouldn't have a veto over who lives in their area that, of course, if somebody wants to move in next to you, you can't just unilaterally say no. What do you make of this argument that we've heard from the government and the opposition in many cases, such as Sinn Féin?
Well, the government and the opposition are at one now on this. I saw one of the debates we had in the Dáil, brought forward by the rural independents and myself. It was the left parties that came in to attack us, and the government parties didn't turn up at all, except for the minister, who were obliged to be there. So it's a new leaf in the book for Sinn Féin. Their motto was Brits out, always. Now it's Brits out and everybody else in the same, as far as Mary Lou McDonald is concerned. I don't accept that. I'm not saying that you have a veto or I have a veto. We have our rights and our duties and responsibilities, but I mean, we have to have some say to get a house, to build a house now in the country. Or to say that you have to go through a series of measures to get planning. It's not easy. So how can the government decide to change the status of a building like the Dundrum House Hotel or any other buildings they have and turn them into iPad centres on foot of a statutory instrument? We know with the Ukrainians they changed the law, they amended the law, and that was bad enough. And people deemed it emergency at the time, which is very much sinking now and slipping away. People are going back to Ukraine, as we see. So to do it under this by statutory instruments, this is the point of law that we want the judge to listen to. That statutory instrument doesn't supersede the piece of legislation, the articles in the Constitution that give citizens and communities the rights, their own rights of everything that's in the Constitution that was fought and hard for, and our independence fought hard for by the men from Tipperary and the women. And indeed, we can't just be living it here and just decide anywhere but the canal in Dublin. You take these iPass situations, we just can't have them in the hotel. Well, one NGO giving out tents to them, another NGO are the arms of state taking them away that night. It's nonsensical. But it's fine if it's outside the pale. Once it's not in Dublin 4, it's fine. It's okay in Coolock too, as far as the government are concerned. But I tell you, the people of Tipperary, the old adage was where Tipperary leads, Ireland follows. And that attitude, we're very welcoming. And Kate mean the fault to the Gauchania, but this situation of operating in clandestine way and literally trouncing all over the Constitution is not acceptable.
We're here to seek an injunction. We're here from Dundrum, and we really need to have this stopped. So this is the best way of doing it that we've come across now. We're taking injunction against the Department for Integration. That's why we're here to take an injunction, so that hopefully this can stop, and that maybe some breathing space can be given, so that we have time, and that, say, the country has time to get everything together, because it just seems that the government have gone rogue, and we're here trying to be the solution that and unfortunately this is what it's come to. We are here representing ourselves because we have no other choice.